I'm Daylon Swearingen. I ride bulls for a living. I won the world title here, and I broke my back here. You don't leave what you carry in the arena. I'm no veteran. What our veterans and first responders carry home, it's heavier, it's invisible. The American Warrior Association helps veterans, first responders, and their families heal from what they've carried home. They call it moral injury. Nobody rides alone.
Well, I'm very excited today about a guest that we have, and this is awesome. This is really cool. This is something I've been thinking about, wondering about, pondering about, because there's some things here that our guest has done that I don't think I would ever have done myself, to be honest with you. So this is pretty remarkable. But 10 weeks ago, our guest was on an operating table with a broken back. The day before, he'd ridden a bull to the whistle at the PBR World Finals, and the ride counted. If you've ever been hurt doing the job and wondered whether you'd get back up, this one's for you. And I know this one echoes to everybody out there that does a hard job and had the hard knocks of life tap, tap, tap on their door. He's the 2022 PBR World Champion, the first New York native ever to win it. It's amazing. A rodeo kid from Piffard, a man of faith who still carries his mother's handwritten notes in his gear bag. Please welcome Daylon Swearingen. Thank you for being here.
Oh yeah, no, thanks for having me on today.
Amazing that you're here. You know, I've always thought about that. Like, you know, who would get up on these big, massive bulls and go for a ride? And I think it just challenges everybody's thoughts on nature and kind of defines what bravery and courage is, illustrated right in front of you for those, 8 to 10 seconds that it happens. But thank you for being here.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me. I think, bull riding's a cool sport. It's the last sport that's man versus beast, There's no whistle that stops nothing. It just happens however God wants it to at that moment.
Yeah. How did you growing up in New York, let's start there. Like, it probably takes so many different things to come together to create the synergy or energy and the desire to risk your life in such ways over and over. Even in training, you're really risking your life.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, so ever since I started riding sheep and stuff in North Carolina. I've always been around it. So anytime we were playing, doing something, we had bulls and we were having rodeos and just little kids doing things. We'd make mom be the bull sometimes and use her bathrobe as a bull rope. And, but, I just kept growing. Me and my brother both participated in rodeos. And my brother, he would ride bulls, and now he's a steer wrestler. And I rode bareback horses and broncs too in high school and in college, and then I kind of just shifted towards the bull riding. I've always loved being around the bulls. Mm-hmm. So like before I made the PBR finals, I took a bull to the PBR finals in 2016. Mm-hmm. 227 Roman was that bull's name. And so being from New York, I didn't get to see like the big guys everywhere. Like rodeo's a smaller culture in New York. There's still a big culture in the overall scheme of the rodeo, but like everybody just kind of stays in that region.
Yeah.
Where down here, these guys are going to Washington. They're going all over.
On the national level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's more of just a regional thing up there. Everybody just kind of stays in that little circle. And so like for me, I came down here and went to college, and I kind of lost where I was going with that, but
when I think about your rodeo legacy, there's been a legacy in your family. I mean, back generations, it wasn't you were the first one who said, "Hey, you know what? I think I'm going to ride bulls." You grew up around this, and I think you said one time you didn't pick the sport; it picked you.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. Like my grandpa, he has wooden bucking chutes at his house. Like he rode broncs, he rode bareback horses. My uncle Kenny, his son, he rode bareback horses. He was a world champion. Both my uncles, my mom barrel raced, like this is just something. My Aunt Lori, she has documentations of everyone competing in the arena, and it's pretty cool. Like I've got to wear my grandpa's chaps.
Wow.
While you rode?
Yeah, while I rode.
Come on.
And, it's just cool to kind of be, and then for my grandpa to be there at the PBR Finals when I won it. Earlier that year, my grandma passed away, and so that was tough, but I was glad my grandpa was still there, and my grandpa's always been there to support me, and he was that guy, dad role model for a little while, and I mean he would still do anything for me.
That's such a key point that we don't discuss. You probably don't recognize the preparation that was happening to you at a young age, but most of us, especially as fathers and now a grandfather, we don't recognize the importance of generational preparation and how doing it right here will plant the seeds that will grow the trees, and whose shade you may never sit in yourself, but your children and your children's children will. And that generational preparation of goodness just keeps moving the ball forward for the people that you love and basically building your own kingdom. And that's what America provides. America provides a place of opportunity and goodness for people to create that generational goodness to prepare the next generation to even go farther. But when you're a kid, you don't recognize that because you're out there on the ranch, you're out there on the farm. But all that hard work and the tireless effort from our family heroes provided that opportunity for you to grab on that goat, ride it around, and start from little age. But you didn't realize that. You're being prepared at a younger age to be a national world champion later on. It's the same thing like in every sport. Even our sport, our best shooters or snipers, they started shooting when they're in Boy Scouts. Or their dad was taking them out hunting and shooting BB guns. In the teams, you don't become a great shot as a Navy SEAL coming in the teams. We don't teach you to be a good runner. The greatest runners came in as great runners. We just honed some things here and there. The greatest shooters came in because they did and were prepared by their family or what they did before, and it all leads up to the road and towards success. So that's what it sounds like even for you, that generational preparation.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. Like my hard work, my grandpa, he works super hard. I've seen my mom work super hard, and just the perseverance that they've both shown. My grandma, just everyone that I've seen working hard, that's what makes me want to work hard every day.
That's right.
And like what you're saying, I mean, those little things that everybody doesn't see, it all impacts at the end of it.
If your mom and dad are working hard, if grandpa's still working hard, you are compelled because of honor and dignity to work hard.
Oh, yeah.
And even work even harder. I mean, that brings that toughness and that grit to the table.
Yeah.
And maybe toughness and grit are two things that we're slowly losing today.
Oh, I agree. And, I see a parallel between the rodeo, bull riding, PBR, and military and first responders, too, because you see a lot of people in our lines of work who have generations of that kind of service. Maybe a father, grandfather, uncle, aunt, mother, whoever served. And usually one of the kids wants to do a little bit of the same thing because that hard work, that service, you really learn to respect it when you're young and you grow up in something like that. My dad used to ride bulls. I got a sister. She used to do some barrel racing, pole bending, some team roping and things like that. I didn't get the rodeo bug. But my dad was a firefighter, so I got that first responder bug. And just watching him serve was something that I wanted to emulate. But then I have this question, and I have the same question for you. People say, well, yeah, but do you want your kids to be cops? Well, how do you feel about, I know you're fairly newly married, correct? Yep. Congratulations, by the way. And your wife, if I'm not mistaken, she trains horses, so she's kind of involved in the same kind of things you are.
Oh, yeah.
Do y'all see your kids maybe when you have kids one day following in your footsteps, and would you want them to?
I mean, I could see them doing something in the Western industry. I don't know. Do I want them to ride bulls? It's a tough way to make a living, but if I want them to be passionate about something, so whatever that may be, I'm going to support it 100%.
Nice.
As long as they're 100% passionate about whatever they're doing.
Yes, sir. I like that. And we all get to see the ride, the 8 seconds. We were talking a little before you got here. That's all we see. And there's so much that goes into it before and so much that goes into it after. And I know, Will, you were talking about kind of a parallel when you were in the teams, that mental preparation, what you do before you actually go out on a mission.
Yeah, everybody has their individual preparation, but it all goes back and starts with the team. The team prepares as best they can to a point. And then at some point for us on the kinetic side, when you're the one or two man going through the door, it's the man in the arena, just like you. There's a lot of preparation, a lot of training, a lot of hard work that goes into it. And at some point, when you let them know that you're ready, it's only you in the middle out there getting after it. But preparation is a big thing. Teamwork is a big thing for anybody to be successful. Can you get into a little bit about that teamwork and the preparation for you on both sides and how that works?
Yeah, so I think like the bull riding, once you your body knows how to do it, then it's pretty much 90% mental. And so like keeping your mind sharp, having a good support system when you are down to bring you back up, and then just like having somebody, if you're way too high, to bring you back down. But like the mentality of it is the toughest part. I mean, it's only 8 seconds out there. It's pretty simple to do, but we have all week to think about it. We go there to the events, we fly out, we get there. Now you're just sitting and waiting for that time to get in that arena and go to work. And so sometimes, you battle whatever kind of thoughts, debating on the bull you have, and just putting it in God's hands is what I've kind of done, is just put it in his hand. He's got it. Like I have a ranch at the house, so the biggest thing kind of, once I started making a name, was like I love raising cattle and doing stuff there, but I have to leave it and go to work, the real work, which is bull riding on the weekends, and knowing that it's all good was like a tough deal for me. Like, okay, all those cattle, somebody's taking care of them, somebody's feeding them, somebody's doing all that, and trusting that process, then I could go back to doing my work. Like this is a pretty good sport, like where everybody's helping everybody. Mm-hmm. And like at the end of the day, we're not competing against the other bull riders, we're competing against that bull. And so everybody,
it's pure. That's so pure. It's man versus animal in the purest form.
Yeah. No, for sure. Like it's, no one can really cheat the system, because it can't really be cheated, because you're going up against an animal that no one can talk to. I mean, maybe some of them guys can, they haven't told me about it yet, but, these bulls, like, they're big, scary. These bulls, like they move so much off a field, but kind of back to everybody's helping everybody. So now we have team bull riding. Mm-hmm. But even in the individual season, like if I'm getting on a bull, I need somebody to pull my bull rope. I need somebody to kind of help me maybe move the bull around. And those are the competitors that I'm competing against that are normally going to help me.
Yeah.
And they're willing to do it because they want to see me go do good too. And so that's really cool to see in this sport, is everybody's helping everybody. If one guy gets hurt, everybody's saying a prayer for him to be healed, watching over him. We all come together.
See, that's that good culture, that esprit de corps, what I call healthy competition.
Yeah.
It's not like that nowadays in the WNBA. You see all that stuff with, where they're kind of attacking shots, some of their best players and whatnot, and I'm like, don't you want goodness for everybody, and see that level of competition rise up for everybody, and stop hating on each other even out? You see a little bit of that stuff. But in bull riding, you see like, hey, that positive effect, and then overall you see the competition go up with these amazing rides and everything. And I'm a guy out from the top looking in going, I was a Navy SEAL, did 14 deployments and all this combat. I'm looking like, those guys are crazy. Yeah. I wouldn't do that. But that preparation within the team, where everybody's encouraging each other, and that positive flow up, like, yeah, I could do this, I could do it, I could do a little bit better, I could do this and whatnot. That's something that is like, I guess, the nonverbal language of being helpful and supportive, that makes even folks perform even better. It's kind of like when I would watch us get ready to go out for a mission, and you see the operators who you respect and look up to, or your peers, and they're put on that confidence as they're getting the gear on, and you realize if they can do it, I can do it.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's just positive.
Well, I always loved the fact they started the team aspect in PBR, because it seemed like there always was that camaraderie. Like, people really did support one another. It wasn't like you were trying to sabotage, like, you know, mess with the rope or do something to get them hurt or make them not score well. I mean, people were really supporting each other. And it seems to me, if you see your buddy ride, and man, he got a 90. Well, I'm going to get a 91. So not only are you happy for your buddy, but it encouraged you, you know, I'm going to one-up him on my next ride. Did it kind of encourage you, not just cheering your buddies on, but seeing them do well made you want to do even better?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, so like I made the Wrangler NFR in 19. And so like, then like you're in a truck with someone else going to all these rodeos across the country. And like, you don't want to be the worst one in the truck, you know, you want to be the best one in the truck, and you kind of want to lead and that's what keeps people growing, you know, like being from New York. I got a good buddy, his name's Grayson Cole. And like, if it wasn't for him and a couple other bull riders, like I wouldn't have had anyone to push me in New York. But Grayson, he pushed me, he kept pushing me, you know, when I first, he was a year older, or he's not, I think we're the same age, but he's like a grade ahead of me. So in high school rodeo, I watched him before I could compete. And like, he's riding like really good bulls for that age group. And then I had to step up once I got there, you know, but that kind of pushed me to be better. And I think that's why, like, right now, we have the youngest generation of bull riders going that are kicking butt. Like, they're doing it. John Crimber won the world this year, you know. I mean, he puts the work in all the time. And that, me being on the older side now, is like, all right, I'm still old. I'm getting older. And yeah, like, I get on practice bull at the house, I kind of feel it a little different than I used to.
Yeah.
But that's what the young are doing to be the best. And so you got to do what you got to do to be the best.
That's actually the American way. That's why America became such a great nation, through competition.
Oh, yeah.
Spirited competition where people are promoted or win based upon merit. There's an old adage that is, I think it says, you acquire what you admire. When you have role models and mentors and people you look up to, you know, in basketball, the Michael Jordans of the world, you know, whatever the sport is, whatever it is that you're trying to ascertain, you're going to try to strive to acquire what you admire. And that's in a healthy, strong, competitive way. And that's a part of why America is, you know, where we're at. We wanted freedom. We wanted to acquire it because we admired it. It was the breath of life for us, and we went after it. But it goes into every single space with even competition in our lives today.
Well, and when it comes down to it, the competition isn't just you and the other cowboys. And something that seems you admire, and I guess all bull riders do. Because, I mean, if you want to win a world championship, I mean, hard work, dedication, talent. There's also the luck of the draw in there, meaning you got to draw a good bull. Because you could have one of the best rides technically of your life, but if that bull doesn't perform, that's half the score, right?
Oh yeah. So we're 50 for us and 50 for the bull. And the bull is scored on how hard he kicks, how fast he spins, if he changes directions, the difficulty of it, and then we're scored on just how well we can stay in the middle of them.
Yeah.
And if we kick a leg up, that shows that we're kind of in control of them. If we hang on the side of them, we're just gritting it out to try to make the 8.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Do you have a system? Because I'm assuming they have like scouting reports on these bulls. Which way they're going to turn? What are they most likely to do? And do you pick something that fits with your style, or do you just think this bull's going to be more challenging? I might get a better score. How do you approach that?
Yeah. So there's times when we get to pick our bulls. So in the individual season, it's all random draw. So what you get, the draw comes out on Wednesday and the bull rides on a Friday. Normally there's 2 rounds, and then the top 12 will come back to the short round. So those first 2 rounds, those will be random draws. And then the championship round, then however we're coming back in the aggregate, the top 12 guys, the number 1 guy will get to pick from that whole pin. And the 12th guy,
whatever's left over. And that's where you kind of get to see like the people that really want it. Yeah.
And the people that don't want it because it's not a good one, you know? There's a lot of guys that injure out that say, I'm 12th, I'm going to get the bull that everybody was getting stuck with this year was Magic Potion. He has the longest buck-off streak in PBR history. But a lot of, like, I know I've been 12th a couple times. I didn't get him one time. They picked him right before me, and I got a different one. But what I'm saying is, like, they didn't, you know, you really get to see who wants to be the best that weekend, or who's saying, oh, my opportunity isn't very good this week. I'm going to save the slamming, and I'm going to go home, and then I'm going to come back next week and try to get, like, the number 1 pick, and then I'll get in there.
Yeah.
You know?
They're gaming it a little bit.
Bit. And it is a long season. I understand it, but at the same time, it's bull riding. And what we, you know, that's still an opportunity to go do what we got to do.
Sure, yeah.
You know, and I don't think God puts us in a situation that we're not supposed to be in. And by turning away from it sometimes, you know, I feel like that's where more difficult decisions come to follow.
But like during the season, though, I would imagine all your bull riders are all nursing little injuries, you know, right? And they're flaring up from time to time, one ride at a time. And so there may be a little bit of that, like, do I take the extra risk when I already feel my L5 throbbing back there? That could turn into a potential full-on herniated disc or something.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like every weekend you have to assess yourself and say, okay, I'm battling this. I'm going to try to recover this, but I'm still going to keep working out on these other deals. And so that's how the individual season on the bulls work. But during teams, like Justin McBride and Silvano Alves are my coaches now on Nashville. And they pick the bulls that best fits us.
Oh, they pick the bulls for you?
Yeah. Okay. So we get drawed 5 bulls, and they have a roster of 7 guys that they can put on these 5 bulls. And so at the end of the day, like, we should be riding more bulls during teams because they're literally handpicking them for what we're supposed to ride.
Nice.
And that's also good back on the injury deal. Like, say I come back towards the end of the season, hopefully I do, and like they're not going to put me on the rankest bull there because they're going to kind of ease me back into it, and then when I'm ready, they're going to give me what I want.
You mean first ride back, they're not going to put you on Magic Potion and be like, let's go. Let's watch this one.
Yeah. Here you go. Let's
that'd
see if you're a
be
bull
like
rider.
being done dirty.
Yeah, that'd be dirty, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it reminds me, if I remember, I had Tough Hedeman when he got hurt real bad, just smashed his face all up. He drew the same bull, but he turned him out. If I remember correctly, he's like, I'm not getting back on this bull. That's who was it again?
I'm pretty sure it was Bodacious.
Bodacious, it was. It was Bodacious. I think that was a solid move on his part. I mean, sometimes you just got to know when it's time to turn them loose.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that was the right thing to do. And getting you started back out on something where, hey, we're not going to try to break your back today.
Yeah.
We're going to let you ease back into it. And speaking of that, so we're in Fort Worth, Texas. This is where our studio is. And just 15 minutes down the road is Dickie's Arena, one of the nicest venues of its size anywhere in the world. Bass family built that several years back here in Fort Worth, and it's phenomenal. And if I'm not mistaken, maybe your best professional day was at Dickie's Arena, but maybe your hardest professional day was at Dickie's Arena as well. I'd like to talk a little bit about both. Let's start with the good side. I can only imagine, Will, what it must be like to be the best in the world at something, at anything.
A lot of pressure, I would imagine.
It's got to feel good to be there, but yeah, I can't imagine the pressure going up to achieving that. And then once you're up there, I mean, everybody's trying to knock you off the throne because they're trying to get to the same place.
Oh, yeah.
But what was that ride like when you won the world championship here in Fort Worth, Texas?
Yeah, the PBR finals is I think 8 rounds. It's a long weekend, and so I was battling it 1 and 2 all season. I came into it, I believe, first, and so I'm right there. And now it's the pressure really wasn't there as much as you would think, because I tuned it out a lot, and I kept everything really simple. I ate at the same place every day, every night.
Yeah.
And where'd you eat?
There's a little sushi place.
Nice.
Down there in Fort Worth, and I mean, it opened late, and we ate there every night. But the first day, the first round, I got on a bull, got a re-ride, got bucked off that bull. So I started the weekend rough, and so I could have kept dwelling on that first round, or I could say, all right, let's change some stuff, and we're going to come back tomorrow, and it's a whole new day. Because that's what bull riding is like one ride changes your season. And so I ended up riding 6 in a row after that bull, but that's the mentality I had to have. If I let myself get stuck on that mistake that I made in the first round, that I couldn't have succeeded that weekend.
It cast a long shadow into every other ride.
Yeah.
And that first one, I'm sorry, you said you got a re-ride, and for those who may not understand, did the bull not perform well or something? Is that why you got the re-ride?
Yeah, I can't remember. I think he hit the buck and shoot, or some way he fouled me.
Yeah.
And so I get another opportunity. So that's what a re-ride is. And
did you have to score on the first ride?
I don't believe so.
So you're not losing anything having that re-ride. Okay.
But sometimes with the re-ride, you can, for everybody else, like you can have if the bull underperforms, so say you're 80 points, they're probably going to give you a re-ride and give you a chance to win. And so taking that re-ride, it was a bull that I should have rode, and I've rode him before, but it just kind of didn't flow that day. And but then I ended up riding 6 in a row, and my whole family was there and everything, and yeah, it was a really special moment to finally win the gold buckle and have my family there and everything.
That's really cool, man. And your grandfather included.
Yeah, my grandpa was there, and that was super cool because we lost my grandma earlier that year, and so it was just huge to have him there because he's helped me ever since I was little.
Yeah.
And it's always cool when he gets to come to the events, and we've went to bull ridings together. I've flown up there to New York, picked him up, and then we go to Canada to the Canadian bull ridings, and he stays up the whole time talking with me, and he loves it. He follows along with it.
You won a lot up there too.
Yeah, Canada's been very good to me. That's kind of like my. I've made a good home up there. I have great friends. I think anytime you get to go somewhere else, you kind of get to see different cultures. You get to meet new people. It's just huge, But yeah, Canada has been really good. Like being from New York, we're Canada, we're 45 minutes from Canada. Like one time we typed in the GPS, we were going to Michigan, and we're driving, and then all of a sudden we see all these border signs. We're pretty much at the border at this point. None of us have our passports or anything like that. We flip a U-E and turn around, thank God. But like it was just right there, and that's kind of where I got my start in the PBR. Like really clicking was going to those Canadian events.
What was your biggest win in Canada?
I won the Canadian national title in 19. So I won the finals there, and then I won the year end. And so that was my biggest moment up to winning the world in the PBR.
Right.
pretty much at a young age conquering North America.
Yeah, right.
In the world of bull riding.
Yeah.
It's pretty epic. What goes on the moment, like what happens in your mind? Do you just blank it out and totally focus on the bull in the moment before that gate swings, before the nod? Does anything go on in your mind at all, or do you just stay focused and kind of blank?
Yeah, just kind of like, I'm not saying blank because, so for me, I come to the bull riding like 2 hours before it, and I might get worked on, or, I like to do a good warm up. I got a wrestling background, so I like to stay warm. Like I'm not going into that fight like just eating a cheeseburger. Right. Like some guys can do it. Awesome. I can't. I can eat like 12. I can't eat after 12. And so like for me, like I feel like my mind starts to enter that space that it needs to get into when I get to the event. I'm saying hello to everybody. And then when I start getting my bag ready and start warming my rope up, but I think my mind really locks in like when I put my vest on, when I put my helmet on, like everything is building to the one getting my mind ready to climb in the buck and shoot. And so it's not blank, but
yeah,
it just keeps entering. My touch points are all leading to that one moment. And then like for me, my biggest deal is like, I don't want to be thinking when I'm on the back of a bull because I don't like that. I like to be present in that moment. I don't want to have a thought of something. Like I was riding a really good bull earlier this year and I was like, had this thought, I guarantee this bull is what Roy, which was a great bull back in the day. I was like, I guarantee this is what Roy felt like. Next jump. Anytime I have a thought, it's normally going to put me on my head.
Right.
And so I just try to be present. And that's tough to do because every day showing up and putting that on, that's the tough part. Because sometimes I got to give myself like, hey, lock up, be present in this moment because I can see myself kind of easing away from it.
Drifting.
Yeah, and it seems like when it gets easier, I can drift.
No, I get that. I think that applies to everybody in life in general because, we talked about preparation and all the things from like the team side all the way to the individual side, and all these things have to come together, including generational preparation towards success. And then when it starts necking it down, I think we talked about this earlier, one of the hardest things is the hurry up and wait mode. And whether it's the fight game, the bull riding game, or operational game, whether you're a police officer and you're in the neighborhood and you're down there, bumping at 40 or 50 heart, beats per minute, then you have to rattle up, right? How do you stay warm in between when now you're supposed to ratchet up and you come back down, that you're getting that adrenaline going up and down, up and down. You're expected to go from here to here in such a short period of time and perform at a high level where your life is literally on the line. You can't be an overthinker because you're going to think about things that don't matter. And hopefully all your training and all the hardships that you've been through gives you the proper muscle memory where what you react to, what you do is just automatic. And I think a lot of folks in life get stuck on overthinking things, that you can't control because you can only control your internal. You can't control the external. So you start wondering what's in the bull's mind. Well, you don't freaking know. As soon as you think he's going right, he's going to go left on you. And I know there's dog whisperers out there, but I never met a bull whisperer who's still alive today because they always get themselves killed and start talking to that big old guy out there. Like, he ain't talking.
Yeah.
This guy's going to get it done. So it's so interesting on the preparation, how you do. Do you pray at all?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like, I pray, and this is bad of me, but I feel like my closest times with God is on days that I'm going to go to the bull riding because I know that my life's on the line more. When I should have a great relationship with him all the time, that's something I'm still working on, and I feel like I have a great relationship with Jesus, but it's just I feel closer to him on those days that I'm riding bulls because I guess maybe I want to, but I really pray for to be in that present mindset and for whatever to happen, I know God's doing it with me. And like this is how I kind of, like, I do a lot of visualization of the bull ride. And so like I like to visualize, I ride with my left hand down. And so I like to picture God's riding with his right hand. And so like he's balancing me out. And that's just kind of a cool image that I can visually have. But God's always with us when we're there, and it's really cool to be part of a sport that we pray before.
Yeah.
On Sundays, it's really good. Like, we have like somebody will give a word that weekend, and everybody kind of gathers around. People that work for the PBR, all the riders, the bullfighters, everybody kind of comes together, and we kind of all know why we're there. We're there to spread his word at the end of the day, and we're there because he's allowing us to be there. We're there because y'all are out there doing what y'all are doing.
Yeah.
And it just all kind of ties in,
Yeah, we're really all the links in the chain of goodness in America. All the people that are working hard, doing all the right things, serving our country at home and abroad, those that are professional athletes, inspiring the next generation to move up and out and beyond what they think that they can do as far as performance goes. Encourage them to be brave and to take those risks, and honestly, if we didn't have the superheroes, the Supermans in our lives to look up and at to, like, hey, I could do that. I want to do that. That encourages us to do those things. I always found it fascinating because the last rodeo I went to was at the Dickie's arena, and rodeos and all the events are so patriotic.
Oh yeah,
and you could sense more than any other sport, even when football games, they'll roll out and sing the national anthem and everything. I got to tell you, like at rodeo events, it's the most patriotic event, and all these God-fearing Americans are out there, and they give it to God in every which way, and also to our country. And not only do you see it, you sense it in that esprit de corps. And I wish all Americans could be a part of that and actually feel the closeness that we have to each other as countrymen, brothers and sisters, and with this one effort. But you, besides, performing out there, I mean, you all really bring it together for our nation in such a strong way that I think now you see more of the younger generation, and it could be Yellowstone too, to be honest with you. I don't know.
Taylor Sheridan is inspiring.
But to be honest with you, it's all influencing goodness. Yeah. I mean, it's all really, now we're highlighting the thread that's woven into our fabric of American goodness in what they're doing. It's actually bigger sometimes than just the man in an arena. And I know I've seen it and I experienced it myself multiple times, at the rodeo. So, I mean, we just don't talk about that because it's just like, that was cool. That was awesome. And that's all we say about it. But God's hand is upon that. And then last I'll say with the prayer thing, because we all, in the teams, whether everybody admits it or not, we know we don't have any atheists in the foxhole. Mm-hmm. And so sometimes you'll see some of us guys get together and we'll pray as a small group. You'll see someone walk off to the side and kind of say their prayers. Even before we land on a target, whether it's on the X, Y, or Z, you'll see people put their head and they're, they'll have the little I'm praying nod kind of thing, but everybody's trying to do it and they're like strong, I don't need a crutch, but the truth is we need a whole hospital that's going to be given to us by God kind of thing. But everybody's kind of praying. I knew this one guy, Johnny, I'm not going to say his last name, but he doesn't smoke. But when we're overseas, he's a chain smoker. Right before we get on the helicopters, he's just smoking away. But that was his way of dealing with it. And then as his last cigarette's flicked and he gets on the bird, he did his preparation, his soul preparation, his mental preparation, because just like you and us, it could be the last ride.
Oh, yeah.
You could do everything right. It could be your last ride.
Absolutely. And I love the visual. I've never heard anybody say that. So you're riding left-handed and God riding right-handed, balancing you out. And I hope that you felt that when you won the world championship, that God was there with you. But take me to the other end of that spectrum. And I could totally see, I don't think you should feel bad when you're about to get on a bull, you feel closer to God. That's a great thing, I think. That's what he wants. Yeah, we should all have that great relationship with God all the time, but we're flawed, broken, sinful people, and we always got to work at it, right?
Yeah.
But maybe sometimes for most of us, it's easier to feel God's with us on our high moments, when we win, right? But then how long was it from then till you had what could have been a completely life-altering or even life-ending injury in that same arena? How long was that?
how long was the time in between? You know, it was 2022 and then 2026. So
about 4 years.
4 years, you know. But I think I'll go back just a little bit. So the year I won the world, a bull stepped on me in the head and literally cracked my helmet. That helmet's at the Cowboy Hall of Fame in Oklahoma City. But I came back that next week. He knocked me out. The only thing he did was knock me out. I had a little scrape from a little bit of the helmet kind of coming in, but other than that, I was all good. I didn't compete the rest of that weekend. The next weekend, I came back to win back-to-back events. You know, so one weekend I'm at the lowest, a low spot, and then I'm back to a high spot. So I win the world. We enter the first season of teams in 2022. I'm riding good. Everything's going good. But I have like this partial tear in my groin. We finished the team season out, and like now my mindset is, okay, let's win another gold buckle. Now we're back into individuals. And it's New York City, where I'm from and everything like that. And I'm like, okay, I gave my groin 2 weeks off. I'm ready to go again. So I go there. I think it was the first bull I got on. My groin pulled all the way off my pelvis, which it felt a lot better because like when you're squeezing up there on your legs, like it really hurt. But then once it pulled, it's really sore down here. And
it just totally detached.
Off
the anchor, everything.
It's hanging down here.
Right.
But I didn't listen to kind of what God was telling me, like, hey, you need to take some time. I was more into my plan. Like right now, like if I want to win the world again, I got to go right now, you know? And so I didn't listen to him, pulled that off, tried to ride with it again. It hurt, ended up having to go get surgery on that, you know? But I think everything's about timing. And then now back to right now, 2 months ago, you know, being in Dickie's and my finals, like everything started kind of turning around. I was having not a great finals, but a pretty good finals. And that bull, he just stepped on me just right and folded me up and fractured my T10 vertebrae. And now I'm just recovering and everything like that. But I think it, at the end of the day, is a blessing. I'm blessed to be walking. I'm blessed to have time with my family, with my wife, because, I mean, I'm still busy, still doing stuff, but I have a little bit more time to kind of, I'm still figuring the whole husband thing out, trying to be good.
That never stops, brother. Never stops.
And like I've battled with concussions my career, and in 2025 I took the last half of the team season off because the doctor said I kind of needed a break. I took 3 months off and kind of came back. So I'm also thinking, like, God had a plan for me breaking my back. I wish he would have let me get to Sunday and then do it on Sunday maybe, you know, and then the PBR finals was done. Like, I was trying to watch the final round of the PBR finals, and I had to turn it off because I was going back into surgery.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
You know, but now I get time to heal my back, heal my mind. You know, you can heal the back. You only got one mind, so I like to give it a little time to heal, and I think this is kind of just what he asked for.
I got one question about when the injury happened, but you kind of glossed completely over something. So you're riding with a half-torn groin. I can't imagine how much that hurts.
That hurts me right now sitting here. I'm hurting.
But then you completely detached your groin, and it's just floating around near some of your leg, and you get back on a bull and try just to see what you can do.
Yeah, I mean,
wow.
I wasn't sure if I was gonna get on that next day, but it's New York City. Me being from New York, like, I love going there, and I love hearing Madison Square Garden kind of thrive. Yeah. And the bull I had was like a really, really nice bull. Like any other day, I ride him hands down. But yeah, no, not that day.
Not that day.
Yeah, that sounds like a 20-year-old speaking, because I can tell you right now, 40, 50-year-olds, anything happens to the groin, I'm done.
Yeah, done.
I'm cool. I'll sit here, drink coffee. I don't even have to even see a doctor. I'm chill out here. But it goes to that one joke. How do you make God laugh? Tell him what your plans
Tell them your
are.
plans. Yeah.
You know, I heard another thing the other day that kind of resonated with me. It's like a man has at any one moment like 1,000 things that he's wondering and worrying about. But an unhealthy man, an injured man, has only one thing. How do I get better?
Oh, wow.
When can I get better? And it really necks down all the things. It simplifies what is truly important in life. And if you have your health, that's 95, 99% of everything. And everything branches on there. And then you have healthy relationships. And you put all the right things in priority. And you start doing things right. And it really all starts with your health. And an injury resets the mind back to where it needs to be. As hard as it could be, it does put things in perspective.
No, there's no question about it. And I mean, I've heard you even mention that one thing you wish you had done more or done better was take care of yourself psychologically, take care of your brain. 'Cause like you said, you only got one. Yeah. It's not like you can get a brain transplant, right? It's not like your back is devastating as that injury can be. There's things they can do to go in there and fix it. Your brain's kind of your brain. And once you really mess it up, you're kind of stuck with whatever you've got. And I'll say for me, like we mentioned earlier, I've always heard in bull riding, it's not if you get hurt, it's when and how bad. I want everybody else to hear the response you gave me when I said that.
Yeah, and I think like I was in college and I was listening to the pastor talk up there, and he was like, don't limit God. And so like as bull riders, we limit God because just like that saying, like, okay, now every bull rider is knowing they're going to get hurt, but they're not seeing the whole picture, you know, like with it, like, yeah, I broke my back, but did I need a little time for my brain? Yeah, I did. And so like, don't limit God because his limits are limitless, you know, like he puts limits on things, or he doesn't, you know, but don't put a limit on what God can do in your life. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the same thing with dreaming and having goals, you know, like I know I can do anything because God can do anything he wants to do in my life if you allow him. But you have to allow him, and you can't put limits on him. Rather, you know, I think that's what a lot of people get stuck in is, I mean, because it's so easy to do, because everybody works on a identity, you know, like a bull rider's identity. Oh, well, he's going to get hurt, you know. Everybody has that, everyone looking at him thinking that, and then you start believing it, but it's your own identity that you're making, you know. And so I think that's been huge for me, is just kind of like everything happens for a reason and God's got a plan. But the biggest thing is don't limit his plans and let him do what he wants to do.
I love that. I'd never heard a response like that to that statement about, you know, not if, but when and how bad. And that is the perfect response. I'm going to remember that because I was stuck in that cycle of it. And you probably heard something similar in the military, especially special ops working in the teams. And I know first responders hear a lot. It's not a matter of if you get hurt, you're going to get hurt, just how bad it is. And I mean, I never had anything like you. I've broken some bones, had, you know, cuts and scrapes. So worst one I probably had was when I broke my leg when I was on a motorcycle, the motor unit. So I was a motorcycle cop. Great stuff. Hardest training I've ever done. Absolutely loved it. But we were in training. I got cocky. I didn't respect the bike. And if you don't respect that bike, it's going to get you because it is stronger. It is more, I mean, some similarities to the bull, except the bull's got a brain.
Yeah.
Unless it's a mechanical error or something environmental, if you hurt yourself on a motorcycle, that's operator error.
Yeah.
And I got cocky, ended up breaking my leg. I was only out for about 10 weeks total after I broke it, but man, I started getting depressed. I was like, I felt useless. My team's out there riding, they're out there training, they're out there putting their lives on the line, and I'm sitting here on the couch watching TV. I felt very disconnected from my team, because I felt like I needed to be there with them and I couldn't be. And anytime I saw something on the news about going on with the department, I was like, man, and I was a sergeant. I was leading this team, so I really felt like I was letting them down. And they'll tell you I wasn't. They understood because most of them had been hurt. But for me, it wasn't the physical pain or anything I had to do to recover from it. It was this psychological pain where I kind of let myself get down about the position I was in. And it was only God that, would be able to get me out of that. What I'd love to hear about from you is what's that journey been like for you, because again, we see the 8 seconds on TV, we see the ride, we see how amazing it is, how dramatic it is, but the ride after the ride, when the cameras aren't turned on, the lights aren't on anymore, it gets quiet, you're at home, you're by yourself, and maybe you're watching your team, and you want to be there, and it's killing you not to be out there with them. What has that been like for you?
Yeah, I think that, like right now, we're in team season right now, so I go over and I train with the boys on Nashville Stampede, and I want to be there doing stuff, be right there with them, doing the workouts, they're getting on practice bulls 3 times coming up week, and I want to be there. I want to be, leading that. I want to get on the first bull and ride them, and then so everybody has to have that same mentality about it, But it's kind of cool because I like looking at it and I'm not there. But like the other day we were in Fort Collins, Colorado, and I got to, I was just at the bull riding watching it, and I cheered the team on, and being there supporting the boys is just as important as me riding. Like, anyone can do your job. Like, God can have, like, if you ain't going to do the job, God's going to have somebody that's going to step up and come into your place. But so you can still support them and help them along, like if you ain't doing right, you're going to lose your spot and somebody else is going to come in and replace you. That's just kind of how everything works, God's got a plan for it, and that's why you stay in things, but so I think for me, like, being there, supporting the boys, like, they know that I'm there and I'm here to support them in whatever that looks like, whether it's getting them waters, whatever,
Sure.
But I can do whatever, hopefully I can get back to, I climb on the bulls with them, but it's cool to, like I was saying, like, I get to see kind of all their preparation right now, and I wouldn't see that because I'd be so much in for me,
Right.
And the other day we were at a stadium, and I got to see like all these drones flying around the stadium, protecting all the people that are in there. I'm like, what are these drones doing? But they're looking for any enemies coming in and stuff like that. So it was cool to see all the stuff that you don't see behind the deals.
Yeah.
And then like walking out of the event, like you get to see the cars that are kind of just with the cop cars, but they weren't. They were, special forces or SWAT or something.
Right.
I don't know, but like seeing all those things that made bull riding possible, that was cool for me to kind of see different things because I'm in a different mindset. Like for me, when I'm done riding, like if I competed, my adrenaline's going so much I can't sleep. And so like I come back to the room, take some melatonin, try to sleep, but normally watch Netflix till like 3. Like, how do y'all deal with like coming from such a high pressured situation, being so elevated to now dropping it back down? And because everything we do is at night, and I know y'all have done night stuff too, and so that's what's tough.
Absolutely it is. I'll tell you, for the longest time, I did not serve in the military, but did 25 years with Fort Worth PD. And one thing I found along the way is we didn't do anything to help people do that. We didn't do anything to help them come down. It was always suck it up, get back out there, do your job. You're hurt, rub some dirt on it, get back in there. I remember I broke a knuckle on this hand. That's pretty much what I was told. So I just got back in there and did my job. I thought that's what you're supposed to do. But even more than that, it was whenever you maybe experience something traumatic, psychologically or emotionally, mentally, You didn't talk about it. You didn't deal with being way up here and then coming down like that. And there's actually studies on how bad that is for your body, that cycling up and down and up and down and up and down. They've even shown where first responders can get addicted to cortisol, that stress hormone. You get it so much, you don't know how to live without it. And I'll say for me, like when I retired, I actually started going and seeing this psychologist. She's a co-host with us sometimes, Dr. Twaddell, Dr. T. She's got a practice called First. It's all for first responders. And the way she explains it, and you got to have a little bit of this yourself, brother. When you have certain jobs where your life really is in danger, you have to learn to be comfortable in chaos. And it's hard for me to imagine anything much more chaotic than being strapped to the back of a bull. And these aren't just regular bulls. These things are monsters. So you have to be able to be comfortable in that chaos to be able to survive. So your brain rewires itself so you can do that. Well, whenever you retire and that chaos isn't there anymore, your brain doesn't know what to do, and your brain's not comfortable when it's calm. It's only comfortable in chaos. So it takes a while for your brain to rewire itself to where you're at that baseline, normal, average person kind of a brain. And we've got to do more in our professions to help people. That's one of the things I love so much about like the Warriors Refuge program we have and this is great. It's not just first responders, active duty, military, and veterans. It's their family as well. We get their spouses up there. You know how much your wife now means to you with supporting you through what you do. And you know she's stressed every time you get on a bull. Oh, yeah. She needs support just as much as you do, if not more so. But with these Warriors Refuge programs that Will really was the brainchild of, you get people like for you, bull riders, you don't want to go hang out with a bunch of people who don't understand what you do, right?
Yeah.
But when you get to going out, even injured, and you get to hang out with them when they're training, you're around people who get you. They probably understand what it's like to have an injury, understand where you are. You don't have to explain yourself. They already know. And there's something about that camaraderie and bringing like-minded people together who maybe have suffered through some of the same things. It brings a peace that you really can't find anywhere else. And the thing I hear more often than I think than anything else for these men and women who go up on the mountain to the Warriors Refuge retreat is, I got to take a knee and catch my breath. I really haven't done that in a long time. And when we see people accepting Christ and being baptized in frigid waters, they want to get in the water and do it right then because they're on fire for God, right? You know you're making a difference. And it's not just something that ends there, because we make sure they're provided whatever support they need once they come back. So I'm excited to hear that instead of being in a place where some people say, you know what, I'm hurt, I can't ride, I'm just going to sit on the couch and watch TV. And you're getting out there and doing what you can.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe you can't do everything you want, but you're in your community with your buddies, your bull riding community, and you're getting out there and doing everything you can. And I got to imagine that that's done as much for you mentally as it has helping with your physical recovery as well.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think, like, anytime you're coming back from an injury, like, this is, like, what you, I don't know, one of y'all said it, that, like, when you take a break, like, it's a recharge for your mind. And, like, bull riding's 90% mental. So when I come back, I should be better than when I left, because my mind should be that much sharper. Mm-hmm. Because I'm feeding, like, I get to see all these people now from different perspective than in the fight. I'm a little step back. Like, I'm still in the fight, kind of, but I'm a little step down.
Yeah.
And now I can see it. I can understand it. I can have a time to think about it. You know, the hardest part is for me is, like, battling the concussions was, like, when I went into the, like, I like to stay by myself when I go on the weekends. And so, like, when I climb it, say I have a good day, I'm battling coming down off of that. And then when it's rough or I get knocked out, now I have rough thoughts. And then when I get knocked out, like, for a little while there, I'd get, like, pretty depressed, like, just because from what the concussion does to your brain and everything that. And then you go in a room and you're sitting in there all by yourself, and I was just turning people away, like, just because I just didn't want to be around anyone and all that, and just kind of understanding that really can alter the way that I think, and I just didn't want to have that. I didn't want that mentality. I I want to be who God made me to be. So really listening to myself, but like I didn't take my concussion serious when I was younger.
Yeah.
And so now I'm a professional and they matter more. But if I would have took a step back and said, all right, I gotta take a little time off when it was for a little prize, now it's a big prize. And now I'm missing out on a prize because I rushed something in, and I think, that's all about God's timing, and you have to really listen to it. And
you gain wisdom along the way.
Yeah.
There's so many similarities between, we're in the business of contact sports, I would say. Maybe I can define it that way, right? Where injuries are a norm. Fatalities is a high possibility. And we talked about preparation in your professional bull riding world. You do your type of preparation. We do our type of training and preparation. Police officers, law enforcement, every first responder does their preparation. And then we do the job. And the job creates a lot of chaos because the job that we're in, whether it's 8 seconds of chaos on a bull that's trying to kill you or out there on a mission, right? And then you're supposed to come home and be ordinary.
Right.
Get back in the box. You're supposed to be outside that box, exceptional beyond belief, where everybody's like, oh my God, that's a miracle he lived, or that they survived that mission. And then you're supposed to be back in the box. But babe, you want me to take out the trash? Doing honeydews like a normal person, but your hormonal state, your mental state, your emotional state's been taking you on this roller coaster ride. And so the things that make you great at what you do, being a professional athlete and a national champion, doesn't necessarily make you a good person as far as carrying on a healthy, what we would consider in today's society, a normal relationship. So we put time in preparation, and then we do the hard work. And then all right, what are you going to do this year? I might go on vacation. But that vacation is probably a little bit of drinking and just hanging out. Nothing like really with curriculum, really to refocus your mind on healing. I'm fortunate right now because my wife is a nurse. She's a NICU nurse. So she's used to taking care of little babies. And I'm kind of like one where now you partner a warrior with a healer. So she understands, this guy's got some damage. He can get a little abrasive or aggressive pretty quick because, like you said, Neil, I'm only used to conflict.
Right.
So when everything's peaceful, I'm like, something's going to happen. Something wrong is going. We're about to get hit with an ambush. So, something is wrong. Babe, why are you being nice to me? Mm-hmm. I'm used to what is the fight? And even in, I think in other type of professions where it's that heightened kind of a operational competitive effort, being normal or quiet or peaceful is not our norm. And that's why our divorce rate in the teams is probably 200%. If you were to add up all the remarriages and divorces, because we still like we're romantics, right? But it's almost like the life we're living is not copacetic towards having what we want to fight for, what we're trying to protect. And so that's another unselfish sacrifice. I guess even to bring it all back, recently we had a young girl, Isabella Gonzalez, who's just from up the street, Carrollton, Texas, only 19 years old, lost her life in service to our nation. She was serving over in Jordan. And whether you're a bull rider or a police officer, first responder, or a military person, when you raise your right hand, every time you get out there before you give the nod, you're saying, I really don't want to give my life for my country, right, but if I have to, I'm in. Okay, I'm in. And that 19-year-old said I was in. And that's a contact sport. Every time you're on that bull, whether hopefully you don't die, but you could break your back. You're really in there. That's why everybody's on it. You are risking everything for a moment in time, and everybody appreciates it at the moment. But then on the 99% of the off moments, the struggles, the tribulations, right, the trials, all the other little injuries, the ankle injury we didn't talk about. I mean, there's so many things that you're dealing with. Hey, you got any more icy hot? Got an ice pack? All those things. But we don't talk about, we don't complain, but they all add up, right?
Yeah.
And then how do you, as you're being an example of so many, but how do you also live the example and have that good life yourself? And I think these are just a lot of things that are happening in a unique dynamic for what you've chosen to do, for what you've chosen to do, what other people have chosen to do. And so lastly, I'll just say, seasons change. And either you fight the season that God's given you, or you embrace it and you make, lemonade out of lemons, or you resist it and then just fall more deeper down the dark. I don't think they told you like how the American Warrior Association was founded, but the American Warrior Association was founded because my teammate and friend Bill Mulder, who was a SEAL Team 5 guy, later on went on to SEAL Team 6, and after he did 14 deployments, he suffered a lot of TBI, traumatic brain injury, and so what he thought was normal was not normal. His new normal was like, everybody else is crazy. Why aren't they thinking like me? And then within 4 months after he retired from military service, doing a lot of heavy lifting, he took his own life. And so we kind of created everything like the Warriors Refuge, all our programs, all we do to help is like not just the preparation on the front end so you can have a good life, keep you in the fight, but also the back end. When the season is downtime, we want that downtime to be productive and healing time, not just you're right back into it, And so that's the gist of why we thought we need to do better. We can do better, and that's why we're here. And same for what you're doing. Like the downtime is just as important as the preparation on that end to get you back on the other side. It's so important.
Well, and Will mentioned seasons, different seasons in life. Whenever that bull stepped on you and broke your back, did you know it immediately? Did you realize you were about to enter a different season in your life, or could you tell the damage was as bad as it was?
Like I knew something was up, like that I could, like just the way I felt in there, like I got really lightheaded, really weak, and I mean they kind of carried me out, and then they put me. So the way the PBR finals works is like you draw a bull and then you draft a bull. So how you finished in that day affects your next day. So like I rode that bull. I can't remember how many points I was, but I would have had a pretty good pick, like probably top 10 out of 40.
Nice.
For the next day's round. And so like I knew something was hurting, but I got in there and they're like trying to get my shirt off, and I'm like, no, I can do it. Like trying to not get the help that I needed right then because I wanted to prepare myself for tomorrow. And I was struggling. I was kind of bent out over this, where they tape us and stuff like that. And I was like, all right, fine. After a couple minutes battling with myself, I said, all right, I'll take your help. They put me on the stretcher and took me out. I was hoping it wasn't like it was just a stinger.
Yeah.
But like once I finally calmed down, like it was still hurting pretty good. And there was only like 4 bull riders left that day. And so as they're wheeling me out, they had like the iPad or something underneath the gurney. Yeah, the gurney. And they're trying to like tilt me up to get the iPad out of this cubby. And at that moment, I knew that like it was something probably a little bit more because they're only moving me up like that much. And they're wanting to move me a little bit more. But I'm like, hey, I mean, there's only a couple left. Do y'all really need this?
Yeah.
Because that was the T10's got to be right in the middle somewhere. And it was just hurting bad, and
the adrenaline was probably wearing off now.
Yeah.
Slowly kind of coming down.
So the pain is coming in. Yeah.
But when I was in the arena, Tandy's like, you need I'm going to get you a stretcher out here and everything like that. And we're going to put you on it. I'm like, I'm just going to walk out and then you can put me on whatever you want. Just because I grew up, like the people I grew up, like I always looked up to JB Mooney. And I mean,
yeah,
he goes down as one of the toughest bull riders. There's so many other tough bull riders that you don't see, just because they don't make a story about it. But there's so many tough, like JRV, one of the oldest bull riders right now. Like that guy can get hit in the head and walk out like smiling, And but I just knew I wanted to walk out there. I want to keep that culture going, and so I needed to be tough for that moment and then get out. And they ended up putting me in a wheelchair once I got out and wheeling me down. But I did walk out of the arena.
Yeah, I bet you did.
What you consider stingers to us are probably catastrophic
Yes.
injuries.
Well, and when did you find out it was catastrophic? You go to the hospital, obviously, right?
Yeah.
And they do X-rays, MRIs, whatever. And what do they come in and tell you?
That I had a fracture to my T10 vertebrae, that it's just kind of floating there. It's not really attached to anything, so I couldn't really move a whole lot. Like I had a neck deal on for a while. That next morning they finally took it off and stuff, and they wanted to get in there and get the surgery done. It kind of stabilized me as quick as they could, just because I still had to I laid flat pretty much that whole time before the surgery, just because any movement could kind of shift something. Mm-hmm. And they just didn't want any shiftage to happen. Go into the surgery and everything. Luckily the guy was there that he could do the surgery on Sunday. A great medical team. They all worked really good. I remember the lady that did the anesthesia. I think she has probably she has crazy stories, I guess. But she was just so funny, and then that's the last thing I remember.
Yeah.
But and then I had to stay in the hospital for, I think I got out Thursday, so I got in Saturday night, and so I was there for 4 days. Everybody was super helpful there. And I didn't like being in the ICU, because there was a lot rougher stuff in the ICU, that because I'd have to get up and walk. And I didn't like walking in the ICU, because I didn't like to see
the suffering
that was going on there, but it also, when he came in to tell me, I asked him how the surgery went, and he said, I ain't never seen somebody walk after that, I kind of wanted to cry, I had a lot of emotions right then. Mm-hmm. And then walking around the ICU, I am blessed, and God's still got a purpose and a plan for me, and that's why everything happened the way it did. But you think your bad day is bad, then you can't even imagine somebody else's day being worse. But we're always blessed no matter what, I kind of think.
That's such a great perspective, I think. And perspective is a huge thing in which will make or break you in life, right? How you see things, what lens are you looking through life at, right? So you're literally with a broken back in the ICU with all kinds of emotions and catastrophic injury, and you're actually thankful that you're still alive and you're able to walk, because you see the hardship and the suffering of people that got a bit worse than you. Right now, I think no matter where you're at, 50 million people right now in the world are battling cancer. Some of them don't know if they'll have a tomorrow. And if you keep, and there's the numbers go on, 25 million people in the world are blind, will never see a sunrise nor a sunset. There is not one person today that has gone on before us that wouldn't come back for one day, for 5 minutes to say, hey, I'm here, I love you, man, and say the things you want. 5 minutes to come back. And if you have that perspective, man, everything's just so much better, right? You can actually enjoy life a little bit. Such a good perspective. Everybody saw the 8 seconds, but walk us through the ride after the ride, the part that nobody saw.
Yeah, I guess that's the one getting surgery, coming out of that. I couldn't even put my socks on for six weeks, My wife had to help dress me, wash my back, wash all down my legs, so I couldn't really bend down. She took care of me. I'm very blessed to have a good wife.
Yeah, you got a real one there. I don't know about you, but my wife said she'll never wipe my butt. So I'm like, that's conditional love. I thought we had unconditional love. It's not that way for me, brother.
My wife just got me a bidet.
She's smart too.
Yeah, she's like, I ain't doing that.
Smarter, not harder. I like that.
She took care of you, man.
Yeah.
So sometimes we were in town, and I was like, we need to get to the house, and she'd drive fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a true partner right there, brother.
Yeah. No, she maps it out and everything good, listen to me whining, sleeping was tough for a while, just because when you're laying there all the time, that first 2 weeks, like I laid there quite a bit, and I'd get up and walk around a little bit, but I mean, it was so hot right then coming into May and June that like I just sweat instantly. I couldn't really have a whole lot of sweat on the incision and all that, because like, and I did eventually get into it, the sweat a little bit more, because you'd step outside, you're sweating, so, and that was tough. Just the timing of it, because I love being outside, but like it took longer for the scar to heal because I was out in it, because I had a back brace rubbing on it and it just kind of always stayed soft. I think there's endless things that I could say right now, but
Yeah.
When you're talking about that ride after the ride, sometimes the most important part is who rides with you.
oh yeah.
And obviously your wife she had your back.
Yeah.
She was taking care of you. She was in there with you and encouraging you, helping you however you needed it. Even though you didn't want to have to take the help from somebody else, you had somebody there ready and willing. Who else? I know you've got a tight family, and I got a feeling you had some other people, maybe in your family or some of your bull riding buddies that stepped up as well.
Yeah, like when you're hurt, you really get to see who the people that are standing beside you are. Like my grandpa, my dad, my mom, my aunt, they all came in. My wife, she never left my side. She slept on the hospital beds there. Just because like while I was in when I was in the ICU, I couldn't really get up to use the bathroom and stuff like that. And yeah, it was pretty weird to have other people come in and help me use the bathroom. So she helped me do it all. And my good buddy Mason Taylor and his wife, they came in. Miss Jen that works for the PBR, she came in, and Dr. Tandy Freeman, he came in. Dr. Freeman, he takes care of all the bull riders. He kind of oversees it all, kind of makes things happen. He's helped me with a lot of my injuries. He's a surgeon, but he's been around for so long. Like me growing up, like watching the PBR, watching the Wrangler NFR, it was always, they'd always say his name. So, like he's a legend in this sport, and he's took care of a lot of rodeo athletes. He came in to check on me. He checked in on me, and I think that's pretty special. And then there was a lot of people that couldn't be there because they were out of state, but they were there on the phones. But definitely being by those people that came to the hospital, came to see me when I was down, that meant a lot to me, and they showed that they were there for me no matter what,
Well, I know kind of like in our cultures, nobody rides alone. Yeah. What was it like for you to have that support, have somebody ride with you through this journey?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it was huge. I think so if I get hurt in the individual season, I'm on my own. So I go home and I'm used to seeing my buddies every week. And so now I go from seeing my buddies every week to not seeing my buddies, to not being around that atmosphere. And so that can hurt you. So teams right now, with me going over and helping Nashville, being around them, they're helping me because I'm around my peers. I'm around that mentality, that we can feed off of each other. Like, yeah, I'm not riding, but I'm still feeding off of it. Like, they get bucked off and they're talking about like what they could do wrong. Now I'm like, I'm wanting to get on a bull, and I got to step back sometimes. But that's kind of what teams has kind of helped, is there's a little bit more support system there. And I think that's huge for the sport of bull riding. I think you'll see a lot more people stay on a straighter path because now we have a little bit more. There's always people there if you ask for it, but sometimes you don't want to ask, or like you're too strong to ask.
The ego thing.
Yeah.
The ego gets in the way.
Yeah. And so now, like, Justin's kind of helping me get back into working out and all that. And so they're still helping me when I like to do things on my own, but they're kind of guiding me, and I think that's huge.
I know with one of the things we do, it sounds exactly like what you're talking about, our R3 program, which stands for Respond, Restore, Resolve, which is about putting all these resources in place for first responder agencies. One of the parts of that program is a system called checkpoints. It was started by a former Dallas PD assistant chief, a guy named Ruben Ramirez. And really the theory behind that is, first we got to change the stigma about taking help, because people don't want to take help. They want to do it on their own. I think bull riders are a lot like military, a lot like first responders. We're here to help everybody else know, I got this. But we all need help from time to time. But if you wait on them to ask, it's probably not going to happen. So we proactively check on people. We see how they're doing. You went to a fatality accident last night and 3 children died. Man, how are you doing? Check in. Sounds like your buddies, they knew you were in a tight spot. They knew you were hurting, literally in pain, and they start checking on you, start bringing you back in to that circle, back into that community. And if the results you saw from that is anything like the result we've seen, that's life-changing.
Oh, yeah.
Because that literally can save a person's life. Instead of letting them get depressed and maybe on the verge of suicide, get them back in there with their people, check on them, let them know they matter. And I'm happy to hear that you are surrounded with that kind of a culture in bull riding. That's amazing. I think we could all learn a little bit from that.
Yeah, for sure.
Like a natural brotherhood.
Yeah.
Where they come around each other, show up for each other.
Not because they have to, but because they want to.
They want to. Amen, brother.
I find out that ego is really the one obstacle that we all have that gets in our way of doing a lot of good things. In our community, we see it as, I don't want to show weakness. I don't want to show a chink in my armor, because then someone else will exploit it. And we all like humor too. We'll give each other grief, but grief in good ways. Iron sharpens iron, right? But then sometimes it gets translated into, well, no one's going to ask for help. And so they isolate themselves when they're in their worst spot, which only makes it worse. And that never bodes well for success or a successful ending, I would say. So you had some people show up for you.
Yeah.
So it's important. It's important that people show up and
it's something it's great to see that you didn't let your ego get in your way. Because what a lot of people don't realize is when you let them help you, in reality, you were likely doing more for them than they were for you. Because as helpless as you felt, these guys love you like a brother. And they want to help you, so they feel helpless that they can't fix this for you, right? Yeah. But if they can just do something, maybe take your mind off of it for a little bit, you're helping them out in the process because they feel like they're doing something good for you. Yeah. And sometimes that's the best thing you can do for a person. We talked a little bit on the break about moral injury. And really, you could see that for your friends, that being like a moral injury for them, because they witness you get stepped on by this bull, basically have to get carried out. Now you walk out of the arena, but then you're put on a wheelchair, you're going to the hospital. They don't want to see you like that. That's something that hurts them because somebody they really care about is going through something really traumatic. And that's really what we focus on is moral injury. Whenever you see something, do something, or fail to stop something that goes against like your moral compass, your moral values. And, it makes me think about those bullfighters, the guys that don't get nearly enough credit from the general public. They see them as entertainers. Those guys are lifesavers. I mean, they will put themselves in front of that bull for you or any other bull rider that's out there. And when they see you get stomped, that's got to hurt them as well. What's the camaraderie like, not just among the bull riders, but with the bull riders and the bullfighters?
Oh, I think it's huge. I think it's a huge, for me, it's a huge respect thing. I mean, they're doing a selfless job. Like, they're putting their life on the line for my life. Mm. Their life isn't no more important than mine, but in that job, they can see that. They, like, when we fall off and say I'm laying there and did something to my knee, so I'm a little slower. He can see, okay, he's a little slow right now. I need to go in here, distract this bull, and take him over here. And I think that's huge. I think, you know, a wreck could be a lot worse if they're not there or if they miss a step. All the bullfighters in the PBR, we vote them in. And so we get the best ones every year. And it's normally the same guys because they're the best at what they do. They get around 40 bulls each night. They know how these bulls work. They kind of know us. They know, okay, he's going to hold on to the bitter end, and then we're going to have to go in there. And then there's some guys that get in a bind, and then they're going to be like, not take the slam, and they're going to get out. I'm going to keep my hand shut until I rather hear a buzzer or my hand pops out because of the bull power. And sometimes I put them in tough positions, but I'm really thankful for them, and I know they're doing what they love to do. And so I'm going to go do what I love to do, and I'm going to give it everything I got, and I know that they're going to protect me and get me out of harm's way.
Did you see that video of that one bull rider who got bucked off and he was unconscious on the ground? His father jumped in and laid over him to protect him. Do you know that guy?
I don't know that actual video, but I have a story. There was Brendan Eldridge. He got knocked out in the arena. And the guy, so the out gate, we call the out gate, is what the bulls exit once they're done bucking. So the guy that was working the out gate opened the out gate and went and laid on Brendan. Then I kind of went out there, and I was just kind of like just standing out there just to, I don't know, try to be in the help or something. And Ted Groney, he's the guy that maps out how these bulls come in on trailers and how they don't. Because, I mean, it's 45. They bring probably 60 bulls a night to these arenas that are really tight.
Yeah.
And he has to...
It's dangerous.
And they pin... All these bulls are singles. So they if you put them together, they're going to fight. So they have to all be singles. They have to go back on trailers the same way. So he organizes all that. Well, he ended up coming up to the front of the outgate to work it while the other guy was laying on Brennan. And when he did, that bull come around that gate and flipped him up. Wow. And he just stood up. And after he got hooked, and he knew that they needed to be out there with Brendan. And he's an older guy. And he just... like nothing happened. You know it hurt. And he just walked back there, went back to doing his job. You know,
it's a tough lad.
He's done that. He laid on somebody, Chris Shivers, a great bull rider, got knocked out in the mud, and Ted, the same guy that got hooked by the bull, went out there and laid right on top of him.
But we talk about showing up for each other, right? Mm-hmm. Instinctively, where it's in your culture to protect and defend each other. There's no thought process in that. It's in your heart, it's in your DNA. Yeah. You actually care enough. You have that love for each other. It happens in there. And when you see that, you're like, that's what it's all about. You know, having people around in your life that you're either working with or family members or whatnot that will show up for you, even to that degree where potentially they could trade their life for yours or both. So it's
a dangerous sport, man. And one thing I've been happy to see, I don't like SEALs probably have like top-notch equipment. They outfit you with some amazing gear. We try to do the same thing with officers and firefighters. And I don't like back when my dad rode, there was no set. You wore a cowboy hat in your boots. That was pretty much the only thing. And didn't always work out. As a matter of fact, I see the wedding picture of him and my mom when they got married. He had a cast up to his hip. Broke his leg riding a bull like weeks before, they got married. So he did get hurt a few times. But unfortunately, sometimes it takes catastrophic things for change to really happen. We were talking about Tough Hedeman earlier. After his face just got obliterated with bodacious, I saw a lot of people that had the helmets with the face masks. But really, the helmets just seemed more like something to hold a face mask. They weren't real solid helmets. Yeah. I've seen one you're wearing now. That's a helmet.
Oh, yeah.
That's what you should be wearing. And after Lane Frost, shortly after that, we started seeing the vests. But, you know, you hate that we had to lose people or see people go through these injuries. How important do you think has it been? We're talking about brain health, talking about being able to have longevity in the sport. How hard do you think it's been for bull riders when this first started to start wearing helmets, to start wearing the vest, where now it's just what you do?
Yeah, I think that's huge, but right now in the culture, we're seeing a lot of younger bull riders in the PRCA wear hats. And so it's like tough to see, like for me being, it probably saved my life.
Yeah.
Because if I wasn't, when that bull stepped on my head, like, yeah, that probably would have been the end of it. And now it's tough to see these young bull riders that have the talent in the world, but they were wearing a hat. John Crimber just won the world in the PBR. So in the PBR, you have to wear a helmet. It's the rule. There's a couple older guys that are grandfathered in because they're past a certain year, so they can still wear their hat, so they don't have to change what they've done their whole life. But like some of those guys that are wearing a hat on one circuit and then gonna put a helmet on, like, just wear the helmet.
Yeah.
It could save your life. Like, you've seen people get hurt. You've seen how tough this sport is, and it just takes one. It doesn't, like, you know, you might be good for 10 or 15, 100 bulls, but it just takes one to step on you wrong. I mean, most of the bulls are pretty smart and they want to move around you, but there's a couple of them that they're coming from so high that you land right under them. It's
that magic potion guy again.
Yeah,
right. Same names, you know. He's just gonna throw one in on you. I haven't forgot him. That thing's burning my soul. I'm like, I don't want to get that one either.
Yeah.
But you're right. Like, and probably happened so fast, you don't even know you just got killed.
Yeah.
You know, with that 1,200-pound whatnot hoof coming across your head, like it boom. So why even take the risk?
Yeah, and right now I don't know why it is, but and a lot of it goes back to the cowboy mentality. I think that's what it goes back to.
Tradition and toughness.
Yeah, they want to throw their hat after their ride. They want to, you know, wear their sunglasses and all that. You know, be cool, but at the end of the day, I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'd rather be this. I mean, this is already a tough sport. Like, y'all do tough things, but
yeah,
you want the most up-to-date protective gear that you can have, because we all know I'm gonna give it everything I got, and so you might as well be the safest possible way you can, because when you're giving it everything you got, it's going to put you in some vulnerable positions.
100%.
No doubt.
Yeah, I think the evolution of protective gear across the board, not just operationally, but in the sporting world, allows competition to rise to the highest level that it can be, because generally, especially in contact sports, it's unsafe as it is. Like in football, every play could be it. That could be your last play. Yeah. Each ride could be your last ride. Literally can be your last ride. Every op can be your last op. It could be your last call when you're called out to something. But what's incredible, and why we do a lot of the things we do at the American Warrior Association, and this kind of parlays across the board into all of society, is that as protective equipment has gone better, more robust, lighter technology has played a part in it. The helmets have improved from bike helmets to now something much more substantial that can take the poundage of the impact. Society still doesn't do anything to protect our moral injuries from happening.
Yeah, man.
Because you take it in through your eyes and your ears. You see these things that are happening that cause a lot of pain on the heart and puts unseen cuts to your soul, and no one sees it. It's hard to really evaluate it to see what the impact it's going to have on each person. One person can see their best friend die right in front of them and somehow compartmentalize that and still live a good life. Another friend, maybe even another bull rider, if he saw his friend get stomped on and that was it, he might never ride again. it might sit in his soul and hurt so bad that now, or at least if anything, it took the edge off of him, or he can't compete to that level. Yeah. That's a moral injury, something that impacts you so deeply that, you know, your thought process, your dynamic, who you are as a person, happiness and joy and contentment has now changed its course because something is sitting, putting you in a dark spot. And sometimes there's only one thing you can do to actually heal that, and that's to give it to God. And that's the prayers before, and also the prayers after and during, when you're present in life, just trying to give things to God that you can't control. Like at the end of the day, when you say, hey, God, you know, your will be done. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. This ride, that ride. Even for us, hey, we're going to do this mission. We hope everything goes well, but it's really your will. But whatever happens, you got to give it to God. That way you can still be set on a course that he wants for you so you're successful and plentiful in life. It's tough. It's tough in these jobs. It's just tough. One day it ends. How many professional athletes now we find are having so many significant issues after their ride, after that season is over?
Yeah, I won't mention a name, but one just got arrested for DWI here recently, saw in the news, and there's been several of them that's happened to. And it kind of makes you wonder because, you know, like Will was saying, we have all this equipment, and I know like in policing, the culture shifted some about being more physically fit, and whether people realize it or not, bull riders, bullfighters, those are athletes. I mean, professional athletes. It's not just somebody who gets up there and guts it out. That's part of it. But you are a trained athlete. And I've seen more these days where bull riders are trying to take care of their bodies. You know, maybe they don't go out and get drunk the night before. Maybe they didn't have a six-pack right before they got on the bull. They're taking it seriously, and they want that longevity. Kudos to PBR for saying you got to wear a helmet if you want to ride in our competition. I think that's great. Make everybody do it. So I don't like seeing the younger generation shift back to the old ways because I'd hate to lose some of them or see some of them get injuries that completely and negatively impact the rest of their lives. I do like this shift towards more safety and physical health. We failed for a long time, I know, in policing. How do you think the rodeo world is when it comes to the mental wellness of the competitors?
I think it took losing somebody to really open the door. But Ty Posbon, he took his life. Because he just wasn't mentally there. He had a lot of concussions, and since then, now there's a lot more concussion protocols.
Good.
I'm not saying they're where they need to be, but they are getting better. The brain is something that even the doctors don't even really know how it works and all that, you know? Like, I mean, maybe y'all know how it works, but
I wish.
Every time they're trying to explain it, it's like, you just need time. Like, that's the only thing that can heal your brain is being around good people. Like, when I was getting kind of depressed, it was like, okay, go to Walmart and walk around and be around louder people, you know? Like, don't... Like, I like to just stay at the ranch and work with the cows, you know? But it's just being around people, being around things. But now we have the protocols for concussion. So if we get knocked out, we have to take a test or return. Like, we buck bulls at our ranch quite a bit, and there's a couple boys that come there quite often, and the one, he's had a few concussions, and so now I got this. I mean, you can download this, like, if you're a parent, you can download them apps on your phone and have your kid take it before he starts football, and then, you know, because I don't know what football protocols are, but, you know, like, it's as easy as being on your phone. Like, yeah, I don't have the same stuff the PBR has to give him a concussion test, but I can do this on his phone, my phone. And so after he gets a concussion, I know he had a concussion. So now I can have him take it so that he doesn't have to battle the same way I did. Yeah. You know, but a lot of people, like, okay, you might know it's there, but are you going to do it? And I think a lot of bull riding is we're very stuck in our ways. Like, we like things to be how they've been forever. But I think we also have to grow and evolve. And, like, same thing with my helmet. My helmet is 100% designed for bull riding. There's not designed for hockey. It's designed to take big impact, and that's what it is. It's 100X, and it's the only helmet on the market that's 100% designed for bull riding. But that's what I'm going to use because I'm bull riding.
Oh, absolutely.
We can be our worst enemies sometimes. Like Bill, he was the All-American football player, and he was the guy like coach put me in. And his coach sees him limping around. He's like, no, you need to take a seat, take a knee, decompress. You're injured. No, I'm good. Just tape it up. Throw some Bengay on it, get me back in there, kind of a guy. And sometimes someone else needs to tell us you need a break. Someone else needs to tell us, hey, I know you could play. I know you can do it. But right now I need you to get healthy and get better. And that's what's important, to have good people around you in that fellowship, right? To tell you the things that you don't want to hear, but you need to hear. We're really just water balloons with a skeletal frame. And, it's interesting. I've worked with a lot of great people and seen some absolutely abnormal human behavior where they could be exceptional in any sport they play. They just have adult attention deficit, so they're just all over the place on many things. And one guy, it's kind of like in boxing, right? You also have to have toughness, right? You could throw hands, be quick, and be a good boxer, but you also got to be able to take damage. And a lot of times there's some guys that are great boxers, but they have that glass jaw. Like they get hit 1 or 2 times, it's lights out. You got a Rocky Balboa. He can take hit in the head all the time, and his brain, kind of like Nate Diaz, can move all around and whatnot and not get the bruising. And then this other guy, he has one fight that goes bad like that, it's over because it doesn't get better. You get more and more fragile. So I think that's why everybody, when you start talking about concussions and traumatic brain injury, needs to be looked at differently, because not one is the same. Not one brain's the same. Not every brain sits in that that skull the same. And if it rattles, it's a little different for this guy. But this guy is just, we call it hard-headed. We know those guys. We grew up with them. You could punch this guy in the face 10 times, he's not going out. And this other guy, you flinch at him, he wants to go to sleep on you. I know I'm being light about it.
Yeah.
But it's true. It just really is. And we have some guys, they make us go on the range. We shoot that Carl Gustav, and you're only supposed to shoot, I think, 3 or 5 rocket Carl Gustav rounds a day, because just that back blast, that explosion just rattles your brain. We even have paperwork that says, do scientific studies, only these many rounds per day in a 24-hour period. And we're out there blasting 20 rounds off each and whatnot. And then people are wondering the next day, like, I don't feel good. I'm like, little rattled. And some guys, I'm fine. What's wrong with you? You're a sissy. No, some guys are actually rattled.
Yeah.
We got to look at it differently. Everybody's different. They're built different. I guarantee you bull riders are built a little different, because I'm like, they're crazy. But we got to take that more seriously. And I think that the protective gear, we also need that for our souls, and we need that for our hearts as well. Yeah.
Talking about the heart and the soul and the support system. Man, I got to hear about these notes from your mom that you would keep in your gear bag.
Yeah. So, she'd always give me a Bible verse. I mean, even to this day, I can get on my phone and my mom's sent me a Bible verse. She thinks it's a good one. She's going to send it to me. She's always lifting me up. But I don't know why I can't think of the Bible verse that I had in my gear bag for a long time. But when I was a kid, my grandma got me this glove, and it said, Mark 9:23, all things are possible for those who believe. And so I never rode in the glove. It was a used glove that she bought. I don't know if she bought it just because of the Bible verse or because she thought I needed a bull riding glove. I'm not sure. I never asked that question, but I still got it, and I kept it for, and now it's in a like a poster deal. But that one just always stuck with me, because if you can believe anything is possible, it goes back to limiting, don't limit God. And, those are where you need to be, when I was battling, being down, and just this past weekend when I was in Colorado, my mom sent me a verse, and it was still about you're not in the fight, but you're still there to support people. I'm terrible with remembering, and I should get better about that. But it was a good verse, and it kind of put me in the place where I needed to be to walk into that stadium and support those boys the way they needed to be supported.
I'll tell you, if it makes you feel any better, I know when I first became an officer, my mom gave me a prayer card. And being the wife of a first responder, she'd already kind of lived that life, and that was her only son going out and doing it. But if it makes you feel better, I don't remember what verse was on that card. I wish I did. And the thing is, I carried it in my wallet so long it just disintegrated.
Yeah.
So I don't even have it anymore. But for me, it wasn't even so much what the scripture said, which specific scripture. It was knowing my mom was praying for me every single day.
Oh, yeah.
Knowing that she loved me and believed in me. And what I can remember the most beyond that is that God had my back, that God had a plan for me. If it was my time, it was my time, but then it was all part of God's timing and part of his plan. And for me, I mean, thank God for Christian mothers.
Yeah.
I mean, It makes the world go round.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't deserve the parents I have. They're both just amazing people. And now I've got a wife now who I didn't think they made women like that anymore. Just incredible Christian woman, strong in her faith. And knowing that you got that same kind of system at home, that support system, knowing you got a mom that's praying for you, knowing that she's leaving you notes too. Man, that's powerful stuff. And I think the thing that sticks with me the most is here you are, this tough cowboy. You're not afraid to talk about that. Any man who's afraid to talk about his mom loving him has got issues as far as I'm concerned. And to know that you are not only will talk about it, but you appreciate it and you recognize the significance of it. Somebody raised you right, sir. Somebody raised you right. And that's got to go a long way in the way you live your life.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, my mom, she's helped me out in so many ways. Like, ever since my mom, just to go back, like, my mom was shot in the head twice by my biological dad.
Wow.
And that was in North Carolina, and then we ended up moving back with my grandparents. We lived in the basement. And my mom went back to school to be a nurse because she had to provide for her two sons. And as a rodeo, that's what we always loved. Mm-hmm. And as being kids, it don't pay great. So she went back to school to be a nurse, and now she's actually a nurse here in Plano.
Wow.
She works at a back surgery place, and just her perseverance through all that, going back to school, as coming back with a brain injury.
Yeah.
She still has 22 pieces or 33 pieces of shrapnel, or
oh man,
so much shrapnel in her head still, and she still needs to sleep good, and all those things come into fact now because now her brain has to work a little harder, but she's done it, and she can get through anything she wants to get through, and she showed me that, and that has helped me in my life, and having that support and knowing that she's not just praying about me, she's praying about my brother, my whole family, y'all, bringing back everyone safely. And I think that's what's huge is those are the people that keep the world going round.
That's right.
And keep everyone.
That's right. That's what I was saying before. Everybody's a link in the chain of American goodness. We're all in this together. It's the one team, one fight. And of course, your mother, God bless her, that example of resiliency despite all odds, built in adversity and powering through it. Probably why, not just because she's a God-fearing, faithful, wonderful, loving, and strong mom, is because her purpose probably of raising her children was the fire that lit her journey to move forward. And that having the right purpose, having the right focus of why you need to do what you need to do, who is depending on you, will make you take those next steps even when you don't want to, make you drive forward. And I think she had the right purpose, raising a world champion and knowing what effect that is going to be for so many others around and whatnot. So, yeah, God bless your mom. I mean, we all have moms, but definitely there's some moms that maybe do a little bit better.
Yeah,
that's incredible. That is absolutely incredible. She came back from that, and that obviously that affected everybody in the family when it happened. Because of that, I mean, when you hear about domestic violence and improving awareness, what does that mean for you, having gone through what you did?
Well, I think, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but it goes back to the moral
injury
that you were talking about. Like, before today, I've never heard that. But me and my brother, we went through, like, she was in a domestic relationship with my real father, and she filed a restraining order, and that's when he came into her work and shot her.
Wow.
But I mean, we lived in the mountains in North Carolina, so if it would have happened at home, she wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
And me and my brother would have grown up with no parents. We have great grandparents, and they still helped raise us, but we needed our mom, Yeah. And the whole deal, I mean, yeah, it was tough, but my real father's gun jammed while he was going to shoot somebody else at my mom's work. So yeah, my mom took, I think 2 bullets, but you can't even tell by looking at her now. She only has 1 spot on her head that the hair grows. But back to the moral injury, like, it affected me and my brother.
Yeah.
We saw domestic abuse everywhere, and so that would go back to that. Like, you just kind of try to cover it up best you can and move forward, but everybody needs a little bit more time to heal from stuff. And
right.
Like, there's always people out there that are willing to help with those things, because there's bad people in the world, there's evil out there, and that's always gonna, I mean, Satan's always gonna find his way into doors.
Yes, sir.
And you gotta leave God's doors open and just ask for help when you need it, because Satan's good at finding ways into.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that was huge for me and my brother. Like, we overcame a lot of trauma because we were around good people, because the way my mom handled it, all those things. My grandparents, they loved us to death, and they showed us what hard work was. My aunt took us in for a little while, and she was like another mom to us. My uncle, just so many people. I can't even say everyone, but I think, like, kids, you don't think about a kid, he's not going to remember this, like, he's not going to remember this fight. But no, like, kids take in a lot more. And I think, I mean, I don't have kids, so I don't see it, but if they see those things, that affects how they are.
Yeah.
If a kid wants to go in and play video games, maybe he doesn't really want to play video games, but he doesn't want to go face the world because of what he sees at home. There's a lot more to it than you see. And I think that's what's huge, is having a good support system, and then, just getting outside and knowing there's a lot of evil in the world, and we need more good people that step up to help people. If we didn't have people that helped my mom, like, I wouldn't be where I'm at.
Right. Let me ask you this. So you would be a great example to, unfortunately, the untold number of other kids out there today who are experiencing a similar situation at home. Because unfortunately, oftentimes what happens is, say you have a young boy that sees dad beating mom. Oftentimes they grow up and do the same thing to their partners. Or you got a young girl in the home who sees it. Oftentimes they marry a man who does the same thing to them. And that's, unfortunately, that cycle continues. And I'm not blaming them for anything. It's just the cycle we see. What's always encouraging, and I saw it all the time as a police officer, especially doing it as long as I did, you could see generations of families sometimes going down the same path. You broke the cycle. I know you don't have kids yet, but something tells me you're going to be a heck of a father, that you're going to treat your wife right, you're going to be a heck of a husband, you're going to take care of your kids, you're going to raise them the way that extended family, the way they wrap their arms around you and your brother, and raise y'all the right way to be the men that you are today. for anyone that's in a situation like that now, what's the most encouraging thing that you could say to them?
I think it kind of goes back to it's tough deals, but get around the best. Like, if you're a kid in school, then go to the after school activities, get around a good coach, get around, like, have somebody to be that man. Like, that's what helped me, is having great wrestling coaches. And then later on, I had a dad. Like, I ended up getting adopted, and I had that role model. My grandpa, he was a great role model. Like, if you see great role models, go be around them, and try to be around the other stuff as least as possible.
Yeah.
And, like, it isn't okay for any of this to happen. And it's never okay. There's never a reason for it. You're never supposed to do it. And it's just a tough cycle that just keeps happening. And I think a lot of awareness needs to be brought to it and stuff like that. I think it's... I lost my train of thought.
Well, can I put you on another train real quick? So I'm kind of wondering how your experience was, because again, in the field of work I was in as a police officer, I talked to a lot of kids, unfortunately, that were in that kind of a situation. And a recurring theme I heard was, you talk about the moral injury of it. It's definitely a moral injury. One, they felt guilty because they couldn't stop it. And two, there were times they felt it was their fault that all this was happening. Did you ever struggle with those kind of thoughts when you were living in that environment?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like, I remember some incidents, I won't go into them, but, like, being a kid and something I did escalated their fight, ended up my mom getting choked out or whatever it was, but, and so that affected me, because, like I can still visualize it as a kid, and it's, all those things play out to who we are today. And so, like, and I think, like, a lot of my concussions that I have had are not just from the hits, but it's also, my body's always been in a fight or flight mode ever since I was young. And so it all goes back to everything. Like, those people that can't take hits as easy, what kind of, and I don't know if it's the science or anything behind it, but what, is it the trauma that they had maybe way back, whatever that trauma was? And I think that is where a lot of people don't really see, like, I mean, you look at me, you don't really see that. You look at my mom, you don't see her trauma. But if you ask her about it, she'll tell you about it. She gives a really good testimony about it, where she sings and stuff like that, and tells about how God worked, and, like, if it wasn't for us, she wouldn't have got back, because she wouldn't have had a purpose, really,
Yeah.
And she had a purpose, so she got back to reading. She was reading our books, but it helped her rehab, because she couldn't really read, like, the magazine or anything like that, I think it's a tough deal, and you just have to battle through it. It's a battle from getting out of it is what the battle is, because you get stuck in it.
Yeah.
And then she had 2 boys with him, and then she's stuck in that cycle, because, okay, so now do I go and have to be a single mom? But I mean, there's so many places to get help, and my mom did it, and she didn't have any help, but she went and lived with her parents. And, just, there's always another option for that. It's never supposed to be like that. You're just supposed to respect each other, and I think that's what it needs to be, and that's what I'm going to do for sure.
We talked about kids that they see more than you think they do, right? Kids are smart.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. They're like sponges, absorbing everything around them.
Absolutely. And one thing we found when we get men and women up on the mountain at the Warriors Refuge, yeah, they may have experienced trauma at work, either military, first responder, or whatever. But the ones who seem to be struggling the most, something happened in their childhood. They've been carrying for decades. and they just haven't unburdened themselves with it. So all the times it's that trauma that compounds over years. Then you throw something else on top of it, a traumatic brain injury or a really traumatic operation you go on, and maybe you lose a buddy while you're there. I mean, that's significant stuff. But when you're piling it on top of wounds that have never healed to begin with, and that's when things really start to snowball and get in a really, really bad way, which is why getting everybody up there and talking about it has done a lot to start that healing process. And I may get fired for doing this from AWA. I don't know. We do a lot with first responders, with active duty military, with veterans. We've actually done some. You talk about your mom being a nurse. We've taken like some ER nurses. You talk about moral injury. You walk around the ICU, they see it every day. Sometimes 12-hour shifts for however many days a week. What would you think about getting 10 or 11 of your buddies, go sit on a mountain, maybe go elk hunting, maybe go fishing, maybe go on a hike, do some archery? We get y'all up there and just see what y'all think about it. I think y'all need a break. There's something about that. It got to be, I can't say from experience, obviously. There's got to be something about what you do for a living that's a burden that none of the rest of us can understand. Just the stress that you deal with getting on the back of an animal that size and trying to beat it. What would you think about maybe going on a 5-day trip in the mountains for free with your buddies?
Oh yeah, I mean, that'd be an opportunity for sure.
Well,
I like to see them riding elk during the rut.
They don't get to shoot it; they have to ride it.
Out there riding reindeer.
Right?
Yes.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I tell you, we'll talk more about it. But I think that could be a pretty cool thing for y'all, because you're there with your buddies, the guys you know, the guys you respect, and you get away from all the distractions. Man, your cell phones won't even work most of the mountaintops we're on. You got a landline if you need to get in touch with somebody at home, or we'll turn on Starlink or whatever.
Yeah.
But you can actually disconnect a little bit.
Oh yeah.
And it kind of goes back to what you were saying about this injury. You've been able to step back and see a completely different world of PBR you didn't even know was there. Drones up here, the cars out there, your guys prepping, getting ready to ride. You're seeing it from a different perspective. This would be even further back, really taking a knee, catching a breath, coming back recharged and ready to ride like you never had before. Which brings me to my next question. I saw in an interview one time you said bull riding was something you wanted to use to better your life, not make it worse. And you've had some rough injuries. You're young. Maybe in your eyes, you're old compared to some of the competition coming up. Is a plan to ride again?
Yeah, I think my work isn't done. Like as I was battling these concussions and stuff like that, I went and saw doctors and everything looked pretty good. There, some stuff they want to keep up with and stuff like that. But I don't think God's done with me in the arena yet. Yes, I want to raise bucking bulls after, and I'm still working at that right now, because I know at any ride that could end. And so I'm still working at something. So I have that opportunity to still work at something I can kind of fall back on. But I just don't think my work is done. And while I was having these concussions kind of reoccurring, I got knocked out one weekend, and someone said that have you thought about retiring? No, I didn't think about retiring at that point. No, I got knocked out again, and I don't want it to keep happening. I'm doing everything in my power to not let it happen. Drinking lots of water, working out. Like all my workouts are like a lot of getting my head shook up, Mm-hmm. But I don't think God's done with me yet, and I guess we'll see kind of how I feel like if my back heals good, then that's God saying, "Hey, go get him again." I think he'll open and close the doors as they need to be.
That's right.
And I just have to not get stuck in my own ways and listen to what door is open and what door is closed.
That's right. I think in life, God sometimes closes one door and opens up another one. Yeah. And sometimes he keeps that door wide open and you know it. And he'll kind of put the breadcrumbs along the way in which he wants you to lead you. And then going back on a couple of things that you're talking about, you know, a lot of times in life, I think it comes down to just a very simple decision as your journey, your path in life bifurcates into two roads. Whether it's, you've heard this before, get to living or get to dying. Decide you want to be a victim or you want to be a victor. Or what I've heard before is be a champion in victory and also a champion in defeat. No matter what, you're a champion. And you keep moving forward. And sometimes what you think might, oh, you know, this is going to be tough. I'll never get over it. And the next thing you know, you're doing bigger and better things. Or now you're the 2-time world champion, whatnot. And that was in store for you. And then when you said it best, when you give God, when you give Jesus, our Lord and Savior, the wheel, you allow him at least have one hand on that bad boy, let alone two, you feel just much more peaceful in life of whatever direction you're going to go in. Because no matter what, if his hand's upon you and he charges his angels to have concern over you, he will light your way. It will govern your way forward. And surely you'll be blessed and be plentiful in the things that you're doing. The things that you're doing right now is awesome. Your love and care and for those that serve our nation at home and abroad, for the veterans and warriors that are doing, you know, some heavy lifting themselves,
yes, sir,
is so much appreciated and an example for others to follow. So we appreciate that and thank you for that.
Thank you.
One question, I'll end on this. Say many years from now you do decide to retire. Long, successful career. What's your next goal? What's your next challenge? What do you want to do? Where do you find your joy away from riding bulls?
I find it in kind of ranching. I love ranching. I've always loved having cows. Mm-hmm. Everything is better with some cows around, if you ever heard that.
Yes,
it's
sir.
an old song.
Yeah.
But I like having cows around. I want to kind of get into processing my own beef maybe eventually. But also have bucking bulls and raise the best bucking bulls. Mm-hmm. Another thing I like to do is with bucking bulls, everything has to be pretty sturdy. So I've gotten pretty better at welding. I love building stuff. And so somewhere around something like that, I want to do, rather it's building buildings or building fence. I want to do something with the cattle and just kind of see where God takes me and see when I do have kids, what they kind of want to do, and that'll kind of direct me too.
Yes, it will.
To just talking to you right now for the last couple of hours is making me build the courage to one day ride a little sheep maybe. Is that okay? Is there like guys like me I could grab on a little sheep and
I'd pay to see that.
Yeah,
we're gonna have to get a mountain sheep.
Yeah, I would ride a little one, you know. I see kids at the rodeo here.
Yes, sir.
At Dickie's riding. That's one of the funnest events when you see them running out there, just holding on for dear life.
It's good
I mean, that's about my speed. And I still might need a helmet too, to be honest with you.
I tell you, this has been a treat, man. Getting to sit and talk with you, talk about your upbringing, your life, your career, your success, the hard times, the way you're coming through those hard times like a champ. And one of the things I love the most is the way it seems your faith has guided you through all of that. And quite frankly, I don't know how people get through hard times without that.
I know.
If we didn't have Jesus to rely on, that Holy Spirit, that still small voice pulling us along, without God's grace and mercy and blessings, I don't know how people get through hard times like they do. So I think whatever God has next for you, yeah, he's got something big for you, brother. I don't know what it is, and he'll let you know when the time is, but there's no question he's going to use you in big ways, and I thank you for allowing him to use you as much as you have, and the way you represent your sport, yourself, your family, especially to this generation coming up, it's commendable, sir, and I hope you're proud of yourself. I know your family is. You got 2 guys right here proud of you as well. And if you don't mind closing us out in a word of prayer, we'd appreciate that, sir.
Oh, yeah. Lord, thank you for this opportunity to come on this wonderful podcast and letting us talk without judgment, without fear of anything, Lord. Just talk free and just help people that are struggling to step outside their comfort zone to step out, Lord. Help everyone serving here in the United States and serving outside, Lord. Bring them home safely, bring them back to their families, Lord, and just help us to spread your word, Lord. You be one nation under God, Lord. Just help that to be known more, and just thank you for that, Lord. Thank you for all this opportunities, and just help our words to touch somebody as they listen to this, Lord, and just thank you for that, Lord. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Amen. Well done, sir.
Well done.